Hey everybody, welcome to an impromptu Transport Evolved live stream. I was waiting for that video to end and for it to cut automatically to me, but I had hit the wrong button. I apologize. You're seeing me raw and unfiltered today. I haven't put any makeup on. Apologies. But this is a kind of an important impromptu announcement. I'm going to cut straight to the point. We've been hearing from a lot of people that there are some issues with our content and how it's being shared online. A PSA, pumpkin spice allowance. No, I have a lemonade. So we've been hearing from people that some of our posts on various social media platforms are being shared in a way that suggests that our content is not accurate. I heard from one of you on Facebook, multiple actually people on Facebook saying that that Facebook is, quote, fact checking some of our content. In fact, the video that we shared today, what you should get to know your EV if you know about your EV. Sorry, the things you should do when you get a new EV, the things you should do to get to know your EV better. That was a video that was posted yesterday for our Patreon supporters. It was posted today on both PeerTube and YouTube. And apparently Facebook is now, quote unquote, fact checking it. Now, this is not the first time we've heard of this. I've heard of it happening on other social media platforms, say no more. But I do want a bit of a request for those of you watching. If you come across one of our videos or you share one of our videos and you get a link like that, fact checking our video, please let us know, as some of you have already done, because, you know, we need to be able to reach out to the relevant social media platforms and go, hello. You are fact-checking a news source, and here are our credentials. If you work at Facebook or Meta, and you know somebody that we can talk to about this, please let us know, because apparently the fact-checking included Russian videos that were anti-EV. So, yeah, that is not necessarily what we want to happen. So we would love it if you would reach out to us. That's the first step, and go, hey, here's the link to a thing that someone is either reusing your video or they're using your video out of context. Please let us know. Obviously, ever since we appeared in The Sun and were misquoted by The Sun, there's definitely been an influx of nonsensical twaddle. I'm trying to use my words carefully, relating to our channel. We've had an increase in hate. The transphobia is off the charts in the last 2 weeks. And I don't mind admitting it put me and some of the other team members in a really bad place mentally. In fact, Kate Walton-Elliott had a bit of a talking to me on Monday. Thank you, Kate. It's not been nice. It's not been nice for anyone on the team to deal with. Increase in homophobia, increase in transphobia, increase in hate, which generally happens anytime there is an election looming, anytime a politician says something that is anti-LGBTQ or, in fact, anti-EV. And we're actually working on a video for the weekend talking about the rise in EV hate and FUD surrounding EVs. A lot of people who have been peddling anti-FUD and, been peddling FUD about EVs are feeling emboldened right now, because all these automakers are kind of scaling back some of their promises about EVs for reasons other than people aren't buying EVs, because there is, look, it's a very difficult conversation to have at a high level. And you can't just say people aren't buying EVs. You have to go, why are people maybe not buying as many EVs as they might previously have done, or what is the data set suggesting? Is the data set large enough? Are there other issues? Because some of the data sets that are being shared, they're not very comprehensive and they're not very representative. So again, it's very hard to have those conversations with people when they're very kind of ingrained in a particular thought pattern and in a particular mindset, and all they want to do is just do a wee-wee on your parade. I'm trying to be very good here. Before we get any further in the the video, I do want to thank some of you for the lovely comments that you were making during the entry, during the credits and the countdown timer. Here we go. I don't think you're fake news, just a wealthy, hardworking, truck driving American entrepreneur. Well, I can tell you that is fake news. I'm definitely not wealthy. Definitely not wealthy. I knew Nikki was AI generated this whole time. She's the next evolution VTubers. You know, that would make things a little easier if I was. I was told my van was zero emissions, but when I pulled one of the levers, water squirts at the windscreen. I was sold a lie. Geez, I know it's been a long day when I click the live stream link and find myself waving, thinking I'm on a video call. Hello! And damn, I had Nikki up for an alien masterminded by a time traveler. Yeah, that would be nice. Unless the world learns history, it is doomed to repeat, rise, rinse, and repeat. And then someone says, very Emmerdale. Emmerdale was I don't even know if it's still on TV. It was a soap opera set in Yorkshire, in the UK, farming. And I think that was in reference to the Oregon fog that was in the video that we played at the beginning. That is a sneak peek. Em doesn't know that I just did that. Well, Em now knows that I just did that. Well, Em's actually out filming right now, so Em won't know until they watch this video, if they watch it later on. But we filmed with a Mercedes AMG EQE SUV last week. It was a massively expensive electric SUV. It was great fun to drive. I don't want to preempt the conclusion, but we both felt, a little sad that there's this massively good car that also has a massively inaffordable price tag. The video that I have literally just got back filming from today, we have another video on deck for a couple of weeks' time. We just finished filming chase shots for it today. I have driven it as much as I needed to drive it to get the chase shots. And in that very short period of time, I was very impressed. It is a vehicle based on a platform we've all had access to plenty in the past. I think it's the best version of any vehicle, the best representation of that platform we've seen to date. I am going to have to drive it up to drop it off with Kate on Friday. I get to drive it the least of anybody on staff, which is kind of funny. Apart from Erin. Erin doesn't drive them at all because she doesn't need to. But it was a very, very exciting vehicle. I had great fun. We managed to get all of the footage done that we needed to. And Em's video montages are magnificent. They really, really are. I seem chipper. Yes, I am trying very hard to be happy today, partly because we're talking about this PSA. There are other things I need to discuss with you very quickly. But obviously that if you see our stuff being fact-checked and posted as with the implication that we're fake news, please let us know, because when one site starts doing it, then all the other AIs then pick that up and repeat it. I've seen that pattern happen plenty before, and it is frustrating. So, can't wait for you all to get a Volvo EX30. A little side note here. I know that Volvo has invited lots of different journalists out to drive it. We reached out to Volvo about a month ago and went, hey, have you got any launch events we can take part in? Do we have any cars yet? And Volvo was like, no, sorry, we'll let you know when one is on fleet. And then they invite a whole load of other people out for stuff. And it's frustrating when that happens, but we're not viewed by a lot of automakers as relevant enough. And unfortunately, we only get to drive the vehicles that we're invited to drive. So, if a company doesn't actually invite us and we've said, hi, we're here, we're really interested in it, there's nothing more that we can do. I know we have been removed from a couple of press press lists recently because of things we've published. So all I can say is automakers are just wanting people to say positive things and not wanting us to say negative things. And so it's really important for you guys to support us by going to patreon.com/transport evolved. That is how we continue this channel, how we continue to do content, to talk about equity and inclusion and diversity, to talk about affordability, to talk about repairability and all of that cool stuff. So if you want us to make more content, please do go to patreon.com/transport evolved. The next PSA that I want to bring up here is that we now have approximately, I think I looked the other day and it was somewhere in the region of 350 Patreon supporters who had signed up to support the channel, who have, for various reasons, their payments have been declined. And it's basically leaving us in a hole of more than $1,000 a month now of funds that people have committed to paying us that are not coming our way because their payments are declining. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's because someone who was a Patreon passes away. We've had that happen a couple of times, and that's a very horrible thing to have happen to the families of the deceased supporter. But at the same point, sometimes it's just because people, the Patreon emails end up going to their spam folder. I've had discussions with people at shows about that. So just check your spam folder, make sure that your Patreon pledges are in fact going through. And when they do go through, that really helps us. Patreon this month was very, very low. Byton took us off their list. Yeah, I think Byton, definitely, we're not on Byton's list anymore. Was the fact check the fact that Kate is not Smeagol? No, she's not Smeagol, but she does a very good impression. You guys are the opposite of fake news. Thank you very much, Carl. I find your reviews and editorializing is more down to earth than the other YouTubers who often act like sales reps. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's one of the reasons why we don't always get invited to things, because car companies now want people to behave like sales reps. And that's partly because a lot of people, a lot of car companies, they used to have their own in-house media and press teams. Those media and press teams knew everybody in the industry, and you built up a personal relationship with whoever was running the press office. You'd know them, you maybe would say hi to them if you saw them in the street, kind of thing. But these days, a lot of automakers farm out their press to press organizations, to PR companies, to ad agencies. And sometimes the people you have for a particular launch will not be the people you have for the next launch from the same company. Some companies, some of the larger ones, do keep a core team on board, and that helps with building the relationships. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. I'm also going to admit that as someone who is neurodivergent and someone who is not always the most sociable, it can be hard for someone like me sometimes to keep those relationships going. So that is just the way it is. Yeah, I'm not going to publish what Carl just said in the chat room, Carl. I totally agree with you, but I'm not going to put it on the screen because or company equals fake news. Yeah, yeah. So the other thing that I would add here, so where have we been to? So some of our content is now being labeled as fake, which it's not true. Please help us fight that. Let us know if you see that happening. If you run any of the companies who are labeling our stuff as fake news, like Facebook, please give me some points of contact, because we're trying to make sure that we are not labeled as fake news. And we're also having issues with Patreon. Kyle, yeah, you're quite right. I know Kyle's had some issues. Kyle Fox has had some issues. I like your avatar there, Kyle. I think that is a new one. I have not seen that one before. Patreon is about as clear as mud if payment went through sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it's It is frustrating. I've also heard from some of you who say that Patreon's verified system is not working for your card anymore. I have reached out to the Patreon team. I will do it again. For full disclosure, I am a Patreon ambassador. It means I am one of the select group of Patreon creators who have a kind of direct line to some of the Patreon team, and we get to try out new features, and we get to get some advanced testing of new stuff. One of them was the collections, which we have been working on. Very, very many thanks to the lovely Moss. Most of you don't know who Moss is. Moss is someone who comes and works at Transport Evolved occasionally. They were in San Diego last year running the shop on our stand. They are lovely. I love them to bits. Last week they came in for a full week of work, and they were actually categorizing some of our content on Patreon into collections. So if you want to look into all of our industry analysis videos, you can just go to Patreon and you can click on it and watch all of the videos. We're doing the same thing on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and you can see all of the content we've made in a particular topic. You can just go and do that. Kyle Fox says it's the old one. The red panda is the new one. That's probably why I don't know it then. What is wild is that you have brands who think you're too honest and Facebook AI who thinks you're dishonest. Right. So the next thing, talking about AI, the next thing I need to talk to you about is that YouTube has gone off the rails. I am sorry to say this, but YouTube has... YouTube has started... recommending videos that we made 8-9 years ago, and sometimes we're getting comments from people going, "Well, this is wrong, or this is wrong," because YouTube is presenting those historical videos as if they'd been published yesterday. And sometimes we're seeing people commenting on those videos in ways that suggest they're not cognizant of the fact that this is an old video, and when it was published, it was accurate at the time. But that, while I do have a time traveling border collie over here, she's not really a time traveling border collie. She is just a fictional character. I just want to make this completely aware. While I would love Miss Dearheart to actually enable me to go back in time and fix videos historically so that they are always contemporaneously correct at this point in history, she isn't actually alive, and she isn't a time traveler because she's a fictional cat. I'm sorry, Queenie, but this is true. So I can't go back and fix things. There are people who believe that she's real. I'm not going to answer that one. So anyway, but that oh my god, did I behead her? Yes, sorry, I broke the magic. That's her head. She doesn't really have any life unless I am wearing her, and then she has some life, and that's me underneath. Shh. Breaking the magic. Hashtag breaking the magic. Anyway, my point is YouTube is publishing videos that are old. If you see one of our old videos, generally you can tell. If it's really, really old, you'll see that it's got a filing cabinet in the corner. That was one we made in the old studio. Those videos are published so long ago, you can generally tell that I look different. Videos that were published like 3 or 4 years ago, I am larger than I now am because I lost a lot of weight over the last 2 years. Also, the quality of the video is slightly different. The way we do the video is slightly different. So that is unfortunate. That is a thing. AJ says, I'd forgotten about her. She's amazing. Oh, thank you. I know she will really like that. Sally Baba says, a few Queenyisms sneaking into your speech there. Very subtle. Yes, whenever I'm talking as Queenie, I always, this is kind of Queenie on subtle. If I did Queeny full tilt there, it would make I'd have to stand back about 3 paces. Anyway, could YouTube be trying where is it? Could YouTube be trying to get creators offline older content with this recommendation feature, says Chris Clark. I don't know. But I'm seeing more comments coming in from older features than I am from newer features, which brings me to comments. YouTube's ad revenue is all screwed up. YouTube's recommendation feature is screwed up, and YouTube's spam is now broken. So what we are seeing is a lot of we're seeing a lot of comments that were made 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes even more years ago, either on Transport Evolved's channel or prior to that, my personal channel, which is what I used to upload Transport Evolved videos on until I realized that was a really stupid thing to do. We're seeing videos being flagged and content comments being flagged that were made years and years and years ago being flagged as spam or held for moderation. I'm seeing maybe 12 to 24 comments a day that people made 5, 6, 7 years ago suddenly get caught in the comment moderation queue. And when this started happening, we had upwards of 100 comments stuck in that queue, and it took us a while because you have to manually approve each of the comments. It took us a while to go through and sort that out. Right now, what we're doing is we're just going with default approving everything, because those videos and the comments to those videos, the comments have been online for years. I don't know why the YouTube algorithm is suddenly going, no, this needs to be moderated. It makes no sense. I don't know why it's happening. But if you have a comment that you made on a video a long time ago, and suddenly you see people commenting on it, or you suddenly see a comment disappear that you made, YouTube is just being silly. Carl says, so YouTube used to occasionally recommend older videos from a creator you watch a lot, and they broke that at one point in the last year or two, and they guess they fixed it too hard. I guess they probably did. The problem is that sometimes our newer videos are not getting recommended. So the video, just a show of hands for the chat room, how many of you have watched videos from this channel this week? There have been 2 videos go live. The video on Monday was a video about the F-150 Lightning, and the video that went live today, that video is talking about tips for, first time EV owners, how to get to know your vehicle better, things that you can do to get to know your vehicle better so that you can do some other stuff. So I'd love to know if you've seen 1 or 2, just put in the comments whether you've watched 1, 2, or you've not seen either of them, or you weren't aware of either of them. I'd love to know, because I am aware of people who did not know that we've made those videos this week. So again, it's back down to YouTube not necessarily recommending our videos. I'm guessing if you're watching this live stream, you're probably someone who has seen them both or is aware of them. Obviously, if you're a Patreon supporter, you should say those as well. So I don't know. Interesting DWC 1964. I've had friends on Facebook say they've had years old posts of theirs getting flagged and themselves being nerfed on account of them. Algorithmic madness. So that is just weird. I mean, it's good that it's not just us, but at the same point, it's really important. The next thing I'm sorry, this is why it's a PSA. The next thing I want to warn you about is, again, we're starting to see more fake accounts, people responding, copying our thumbnail and going, congratulations, you've won a prize. And if you haven't watched, I did a live stream, I think it was late last year or earlier this year, in which I pretended to be a fan of the channel and I created a fake Telegram account using a burner phone that I have. And I was able to have this conversation with someone who pretended that they were me, and I pretended to be a fan of the channel. And Yeah. They're in Nigeria or somewhere like that, and they're basically just trying to get you to give money to them in order to receive a prize that they claim you have won as being a fan of the channel. And I just want to be really clear. If you are a fan of the channel and we reach out and go, hey, there's a thing we want to talk to you with, then the chances are it's not us, because we don't do giveaways like that. We have done some giveaways in the past, but we don't do giveaways in that particular way. Yeah, you have not run as prize that scam. Kyle says there's another YouTuber I watch that starts his intro with "You have not won a prize. That's a scam." And that's unfortunately, again, something that we are seeing a lot of right now. I know that a couple of local creators are having the same issue. YouTube has become really the Wild West, and it's a pain in the butt. Just hope some of the things we're doing and saying today doesn't come back in 10 or 20 years and make us a horrible person, since the goalposts do get moved over time. I think the reality here is that if you are a good, kind, and considerate person, you try and think of other people's feelings, and you're not an asshole, generally you'll be fine. And look, everybody makes content or says stuff or makes posts that the meaning of which is inferred by the audience in the time that is watching. So over time, things change. Do you know by chance how long shipping takes for you, Gears? Is it weeks, months? It's normally pretty quickly. However, and this is important, remember that Gears is in Ukraine. So you have to take that into consideration. The Gears stuff that I have received generally takes about a week to a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks. I've heard from other people that have said it takes about a week to 2 weeks. If you have put, I don't know if that you're asking because you've actually ordered stuff through Gears or you're contemplating it. If you have ordered something and it's taken longer, feel free to reach out to them directly and let them know. Remember, the U in Gears stands for Ukraine. Yeah, exactly. There's some lovely floofs in the chat today. I like this. If you pre-order now, new items, it can take a month or more, says Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. That is good to know. Maybe add a pinned comment to say no competitions on this channel. No guarantee folk would see it, I guess. I mean, look, Chris, it's a great idea. I love it as an idea. I think that's incredible. But you also have to acknowledge that people very often do not consume content with their brains turned on. The number of times we make a video about a product or a car or about something that's happened in the news, and we explain the context, and people in the comments section rail against what they think the video is about, when actually we address that issue in the video. I'd be kind of rich if I had $1 for every time that happens. But there we go. I got a UGears last year to the UK quite quickly, mailed from Latvia or Lithuania. Yeah, I think they do have distribution centers outside of Ukraine as well. I think it depends on what you're getting. You can see some of my UGears models up there. And then we have one of these over here as well. It sits in the window. I think everybody on the team has now had a go to make the UGears stuff. We love this because of its sustainability. And this is not an ad. It's not, I mean, I guess UGears is a channel sponsor, so I can talk about it. But I just love this because, look, it's all powered by, this one I think is an elastic band. Oh, no, this one actually has a metal spring. Let me show you. I'll show you. Like so. So the metal spring is just here. So you spin it up. This is all made out of wood. And then I'm going to let the wheels go so you can see it. And then I press it. And the engine, like the little engine, you can see the little engine going up and down. It is so awesome. I think these are great. These are great Christmas gift. So if you want to support the channel, do consider getting one. Looks like I've knocked a piece off. It is wooden, so you can knock pieces off, and it's not glued together, so it's just push fit. So, you know, you have to be careful who you give these to. So there we go. But it is very, very cool. I'll do it one more time, and I'll show it so you can see. And it actually has a gearbox as well. So let me show you. If you watch, just here, watch. You probably didn't see, but the engine goes up and down. It's very, very cool. I think they're great. I love those. And obviously we do have other sponsors for the channel too. Been seeing so many crypto spam, Telegram scam comments getting flooded within first 10, 15 minutes of videos published, even more in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, and that's something that we are fighting here. We're reporting them, obviously, spam. Those accounts are getting nuked really quickly. YouTube at least is on top of that. But again, I think I'm not sure whether someone is maliciously going through and reporting our content as fake. I honestly do not know. It is frustrating that YouTube and Facebook are doing this, but it is something that obviously ultimately we'd like to change. But your support through Patreon really, really helps, and thank you to the couple of you who either signed up. We now do trial memberships. If you want to try it out and see how it works for you, that'd be great. We got a new plugged in on a 7-day trial. Thanks, John. And also Hunter, thank you for modifying your membership. I really appreciate that. It really does make a big difference to the team. So while the cost of actually doing business doesn't change all that much, you know, the actual thing about filming and all that, it doesn't actually get more expensive once you've got the gear. There are things that do need to be replaced. And one of the things that needs to be replaced is this computer here. This is my edit machine. It has got to the point where it starts turning itself off sometimes when we're working on videos. And something we don't talk about very often, Em does all of the montages and all of the reviews and all of the stuff that's filmed outside of the studio. That is generally Em's editing purview. And that can be 2 or 3 days worth of work. For the vlogs, the daily vlogs, when I'm doing like talking in the studio about something, that's generally something I edit. I do the Sunday musing and the chicken and garden editing, although Em colors it. Em colors everything. And when it comes to 10 is 100% me, pretty much. Em sometimes does a color check. They'll probably be doing that tomorrow because last week's 10 was a little off on the coloring. But they do the coloring check, but everything else just is edited either by myself or Kate. And my machine is the last machine that we have upgraded. I had this since 2017. It's a beast. It's an iMac Pro. It's got 128 gigabytes of RAM. I've currently had to plug in an external GPU just to make sure that it can cope with all of the footage, because sometimes it just takes literally hours to render out videos. So we are going to be replacing it with a Mac, an M-chipped machine at some point, probably late this year, early next, depending on how our things are. And we'll go from there. So all of that money from Patreon, all of that support that you give us, whether it's buying swag or everything else, it is really important to have your support, because it helps us stay independent, impartial, but it also means that we can afford to do things like upgrade equipment, upgrade hard drives. We currently do not have any backup solution because our backup solution has stopped working, and that is unfortunate. We are working to fix that. I see that Ian has his name in the credits twice. Yeah, we talked about that in our stand-up. This one of our stand-ups this week. So the new system that we're using to pull out all the names is automatic, and some of it we need to fix. So we will work on that at some point. Fisker joined Polestar and Volvo to publish their LCA reports. I think this is imperative, but those haven't received detailed coverage. With interviews of report preparers, would you consider? We have done some work into LCA life cycle analysis before, and we'd like to do that more. I know it's something that Kate and I have talked about covering. Stuff like that takes a lot of time to produce, and we tread a very fine line. So we used to make content every day. That became unsustainable because you just couldn't get it out in time, and I had massive burnout. I still have massive burnout, but for different reasons. And so we'd like to slowly transition to a point where we're making fewer videos, but the videos are bigger and better and more content filled. And so that's something we are looking to do, and that's something we'd like to do more of. And we're working on a massive video right now on accessibility to charging infrastructure, and we've interviewed a couple of people already. We are working on interviewing some more people in the sector, so we need to do that. The purple reflection off my specs functions like mascara, apparently. That is nice to know. For those who don't know, I don't actually like wearing makeup. I am not necessarily the most girly of women, and I don't like how makeup makes my face feel, so I tend not to wear it off camera. Normally, when I'm on camera now, I have defaulted to wearing makeup because I understand that it's kind of an expected thing. But I just don't get it. I grew up on a farm, right? So having fancy nails and being dolled up is fun. But it's also, I might have to go and get the eggs from the chickens or milk a cow or whatever else needs to be done. So having more down to earth clothes just makes things feel, better. Will safety considerations be part of accessibility? You betcha. That is a big concern that we have from stuff. So yeah, it is a big thing. Charge safe in the UK, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm familiar with that. I like it when creators have a mix of videos, like 5 to 15-minute quick videos and also deep dives. Yeah, so do we. We're trying to work more on short form videos. Our scripts tend to be a little long at the moment because we're trying to provide context. And a lot of people get upset with us and go, why are you saying the same thing again and again and again? We go, because our videos often are not, they don't have a long tail, right? So they're not videos that you watch perennially. They tend to have like, they'll do well for like the first month and a half, but because we focus on news, very often those videos go out of fashion, go out of style, and then we have to start again. So that is something that we're working on. The video that I've been working on today, which I think Kate has just had a quick look at. Kate's been very lovely this week. She wasn't here last week because she worked too many hours, so she had a week off last week. But the video that I'm working on today is a video about knacks. I don't think anybody's proofread it yet, so I'm not going to share any more than that. It's 7 pages. I might try and make this more succinct before we push it out. Anyway, that was everything that we wanted to say. I do want to keep this video a little bit short. I have to go out and film a couple of videos. We have to go and film the chicken and garden and the Sunday music, which may or may not be with makeup. I haven't decided yet. I may actually do those tomorrow once I've got makeup on, because I know I'm going to have to wear makeup tomorrow. And then Friday, I have to do some car shuttling. I have to drive up to Kate's in the car that I have right now, and it is awesome. The car that we have right now on review is awesome. It ticks all the boxes. It's under 40,000 US. And honestly, I think everyone on the team is going to love it. I took Erin out for a drive in it earlier, and she thought it was great. Erin was helping us with some filming earlier. Em is in love with it. They think it's great. So, this is the thing. Anyway, so that's everything, really. If you want to support us, as I say, please go to patreon.com. /Transport Evolved and see us there. If you want to send us a super thanks, you could do that. If you want to buy some swag, go to our swag store and buy that. You cannot buy this t-shirt because this is only, you can only get this if you work at the company. So I tend to wear this when I go through things. Would you wait for an announced next version of a new car or get it now with the adapter? David, you may want to wait until tomorrow's video drops. I don't know if I gave you enough information that you just kind of inferred what the video was about, but that's tomorrow's video. Well, it's actually Friday's video, but you are a Patreon supporter. I know you are a Patreon supporter, David. So you can watch it tomorrow evening, hopefully, US West Coast time. No spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers. I'm going to try and make that video a little bit. But I also have to go out and film a video now because I am going for a ride on Hema. And I'm going to give you a bit of an update about Hema. And I'm also going to talk to you. And I'll point out that this video on Hema, I'm going to film it today. You're not going to get to see it for 2 weeks. As River Song would say, spoilers. Yes, absolutely. I had to double check that because we have a dog called River Song. In case you didn't know that. We have River Song, we have Ghost, and we have Sky. But yeah. Nax, yes. This video about Nax. We're not going to go in. No spoilers. No spoilers. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please spread the news that we are still suffering at the hands of Google and Facebook and all the other things, and X as well. I know someone said to me the other day they tried to share one of our videos on X and it didn't share. So go figure. Join us on Mastodon. It's really easy. You can go to Mastodon and I think it's called Get Mastodon is the website. Let me double check. Join Mastodon. So if you go to joinmastodon.org, it will help you sign up for a server. Pick a server that is appropriate to your interests and your values. Stay away from the nasty servers. And then once you've got a Mastodon account, which is free and it's federated and there are no ads, you can find us on Mastodon. It's really easy to find us on Mastodon. You can just follow mastodon.transportevolved.com/@show. That is our Mastodon account. And if you want to follow me personally, you can go to that one. And if you want to follow Kate Walton Elliott, you can go to that one. And if you don't know what Mastodon is, we actually did an explainer video a couple of months back. But if you want to carry on this discussion and you are a Patreon supporter, you can do so on Patreon. You can also join us over at Discord. We do have a Discord server, and there is a link to our Discord server in the down below for this video that gives you a chance to just join the Discord server and you can carry on. You can carry on there. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for the lovely chat. Thank you for listening to all of the issues that we've been suffering. And as always, keep up.